Welcome back to Full-Time Takes. It's your host, Kellen, and the NFL draft was over a month ago, and we're already at OTAs. So, as stated in my last video, I thought there wouldn't be a better time to give you my grades for every single NFL 2026 first-round pick. This is part 2 of this series, where I'll be covering picks 17 through 32. Part 1 focused on the first half of the draft, and go check that out once you finish this video. And I think without further ado, let's get into it. At pick 17, the Detroit Lions took Blake Miller, and I'm giving this a B-. To start positively, he had 54 career starts in college, and experience translates well into the NFL. He has God-given quickness, and his moves are very fluid, but he also rarely gets beaten by rush games. And, on the other hand, his hands are lacking in areas like accuracy and power. And I don't believe he was the best interior offensive lineman on the board, so this pick averages out to around a B- in my book. Next up, at pick 18, the Vikings chose Caleb Banks, and this gets a B. He's a very good defensive tackle, don't get me wrong. And even though the Vikings had gruesome quarterback play last year, they still went 9-8. Their roster is talented, and Caleb Banks adds to that defense. He has great physical traits and produced in college, but injury concerns are real. They are an issue to be aware of. And he hasn't necessarily learned to use those physical traits that he was given to at least a certain extent. He's got great potential, though, for sure. Moving on, the Panthers at pick 19 got Monroe Freeling, and I give this an A. I just know the Panthers were thrilled to see that man at 19. 2 years removed from terrible offensive line play in Carolina, they made several moves to change that. And I believe that Monroe Freeling might have completed the puzzle. I really liked him as a prospect, and with some of the other moves the Panthers made in the draft and in free agency, I think this team has a true chance to contend. Bryce Young in this do-or-die season for him and for Carolina has got to deliver. At pick number 20, the Eagles traded up 3 spots with the Cowboys to get Mekhi Lemon, and this pick gets an A-. The value from this pick alone propels it super far because he's an incredible receiver, a top 10 level talent, and they got him at 20. That's some of the Howie Roseman magic for you. Also, hindsight being 2020, and knowing that A.J. Brown is now a Patriot, getting Jalen Hurts, a young target with big upside, is smart. My one concern is whether he fits into the identity of the Eagles' offense, as well as Jalen Hurts, because I know he loves to throw to the middle of the field. We'll see how that plays out next season. Pick 21, the Steelers selected Max, I'm not going to try to pronounce his name, and I give this a C. I'm not giving this a C because it wasn't a sexy or an attractive pick. I'm not upset at Pittsburgh wanting to build the trenches. But Max is not the guy, in my opinion. He's a trait-heavy player, which isn't what you want in an offensive lineman. And his footwork, as well as his mechanics, need work. He has to work on his pass blocking as well, and this was just a weird pick, in my opinion. Next at 22, the Chargers took Akeem Mesidor, and I give this an A for LA. Getting a guy like Mesidor in the latter half of the draft is a win for any team. Getting 10 sacks lined up across Ruben Bain is incredibly impressive. That's something you got to take note of. His injury history is also something to take note of, but he's fluid and he brings a ton of effort on the defensive side of the football. Just a great addition for the Chargers overall. At pick 23, the Cowboys, after trading down 3 spots with the Eagles, took Malachi Lawrence, and this gets a B-. He is not just good, but prototypical size and length for an edge, but he plays with the explosiveness and quickness of a smaller guy. He has to provide consistency in the run game, which he has struggled with. A solid pick, but I don't love the prospect, and whether or not he'll help revamp this Dallas defense is to be seen. The Browns selected Kevin Concepcion with pick 24, and I give this a B+. The Browns have had offensive line and receiver problems for a while now, and they were able to address both of those. And that's impressive. KC is a smaller, speedy type of receiver, and it's definitely a step down from the big 3 of Tate, Tyson, and Lemon. But he has produced, and man, oh man, does that guy have grit. He has made it abundantly clear that he's going to be the first guy in the building and the last guy out. Getting whoever the quarterback is next season some help is smart as well. And I'm a big fan of Concepcion, believe me. The Bears took Dylan Thieneman with pick 25, and this gets an A+. I love this pick. He's got games and experience under his belt. He gives you speed, size, and versatility on his alignment. Thieneman also gives you great range on your defense. He can play virtually anywhere. Replacing your open defensive back position with a young, versatile safety instead of the older players they had last year is just a great pick, in my opinion. At number 26, the Texans took Keelan Rutledge, and my grade for this is a C+. He's got solid athleticism, and pairing that with him excelling at the drive/combo block, it works well for him. But he has inconsistent body control, and his edge leakage could be a big concern against NFL stars. It's good getting offensive line depth, but he's not even going to start immediately. I don't fully understand this pick for Houston. Then, the Dolphins once again continue to frustrate me by taking Chris Johnson with pick 27, and this gets a C-. I don't think anyone saw him being a first-round talent. No one else was going to take him in round 1. He's a solid player for sure, but he played against weak competition at San Diego State. He's a guy who wants to be your receiver's shadow. He had average size and good production. I just don't see him having a high floor, which is what Miami desperately needs. The Patriots at pick 28 took Caleb Lumu to line up across from Will Campbell, and this gets an A-. The Patriots' offensive line collapsed in the playoffs, and through trading for agency, they put some more weapons around Drake May. He's still developing, but has nowhere to go but up. The Patriots got a pass block first tackle, and I think it completes their great offseason. Next, at pick 29, the Chiefs took Peter Woods. I've teetered on different grades, but I give this an A. I've talked about it last season, but the Chiefs' defense lost several exceptional players in this free agency, and their defense is also aging. Woods can play in several different schemes and continues to fight as the play progresses. Bringing more youth to Kansas City defense is exactly what they were looking for. The Jets selected Omar Cooper Jr. with the 30th overall pick, and this gets an A+ in my book. The Jets are a good ways away from contending, but getting another offensive weapon who will develop is respectable. But this pick is more the prospect that drives it over the top for me. He plays well in the slot and is both a great horizontal and a vertical threat. He finished with 13 touchdowns last season, and he was the Heisman's comfort target, and for good reason. Also, giving up minimal assets to get another great talent on the offensive side of the football pushes this over the top for me. A great pickup for the New York Jets. With pick 31, the Tennessee Titans traded back into the first round with my Buffalo Bills, sadly of course, to select Keldrick Falk, and this gets a B-. I like the Titans having impulse and trying to get another key player, but doing it for Falk might not have been the pick. He's got great size and even better movement skills. And yes, he also helps bring a culture to Tennessee, which is something they definitely need. But he's quite unpolished, and they'll have to be patient and give him several years to develop before they should expect true results. A fine pick, but just nothing crazy in general. Last, to end this two-part series with pick 32, the Super Bowl winning Seattle Seahawks chose Ja'Jarian Price, and I give this a B. The Seahawks had to pay the price of winning the Super Bowl by choosing who they were and weren't going to pay this offseason. Kenneth Walker, their Super Bowl MVP, didn't make the cut. He didn't get paid. And besides Charbonnet, who's coming off of an ACL tear, they've got no running backs. He's a smooth runner with great vision. He played behind Jeremiah Love, and he isn't super explosive or anything, but he has a great talent as a runner. And I think with that, this series is officially over. These are my grades for every single NFL first-round pick of 2026. Thanks for watching. This is Full Time Takes, and I'm your host, Kellen.